Hi, and welcome to Inside History. I'm your host, Bob Carter. We're at the Palm Springs Middle School this afternoon, and we're talking to Sharon Koskoff. Sharon is the painter of the beautiful murals that you would see both here at the school and in many, many other places throughout Palm Beach County. Welcome, Sharon.
Thanks for having me, Bob. Love to be here.
Sharon, what is the difference between a painting and a mural?
What a great question. A painting is usually done on canvas or paper. A mural is on a wall and generally quite large.
Why are they important?
Well, they're important because they're pretty big, they're in your face, and public murals are very, very important because the community works on them sometimes. The community gets to see them all the time. Community that might not be in a museum can see them in a street. In a public school, thousands of people see them every day. Murals are very, very important if they're historical because they might tell past history and give a lot of pride in the community.
Mm-hmm. And what is a fresco?
A fresco is the old way they painted murals. Years ago, they had wet plaster, and they would take dried pigment and put it into the plaster, just paint it in. Those lasted very, very long time because the pigment would soak in and stay in the plaster, would not fade.
Was there any other way that murals were created in the past other than frescoes?
Well, not really, because they didn't have paints that we have in technology today where we have oil paints, and now, of course, we have acrylic paints, which are far superior. So the paints give them a bonding medium for the pigments to dry in. Mm-hmm. So you had pigment. Years ago, it was in the plaster, was the bonding medium. Now we have acrylic polymers for the paint to bond into.
When did they start doing ceramic tile murals?
Oh, I think they did them a long time ago, ceramic tile murals. Ceramic tile murals would be a mural painted on tiles, then baked in an oven, then glazed, baked again, and then hand individually mounted onto a wall if it was a mural. That would be very popular. We have, in Palm Beach County, Publix murals years ago. All the Publix had murals painted by Patty Mills. And she did over 200 murals at all the Publix, and those are disappearing right now as we speak.
And they were made with, as you said, baking each individual piece of tile?
Each tile would be painted and glazed and baked. And they are disappearing, though, so run out to Publix and find one.
And take pictures. What are some of the other famous murals around the county?
Well, in Palm Beach County, we have a lot of famous murals in the post offices. We have Leonard Lester did the post office on Summit Boulevard. There are 6 murals. Actually, those are paintings. They're kind of mural-esque because they're large paintings, but they're actually canvases. We have Charles Rosen did the Palm Beach post office, is a famous one. The Society of Four Arts, you have Leonard Lester, who painted his wife, Theodosia. There's lots of famous mural artists in the historical Palm Beach County area.
I remember back in the late 1950s, I worked at the Royal Poinciana Playhouse for their first 2 seasons.
Oh, wow.
And in the celebrity room, there was a mural on the ceiling. I think it was painted by Robert Bushnell.
You got to see that. Aren't you lucky? I've never seen that actual mural. I have pictures of that. That mural is like a little controversy right now. Where's the missing mural? Patrick Flynn from the Playhouse Society, who's trying to help save that building right now, he says the mural is still there, and other people say it's gone. But I'm pretty sure it's there because it's a mural that's painted on the ceiling, and it had all kinds of celebrities like JFK, it had Clark Gable, Lily Pulitzer, a lot of famous people. That's
Helen
a
Hayes.
Great mural.
Yeah, it was like you were looking up and there was a balcony up there, and they were all looking over the balcony down into the room.
Very exciting mural. Those are epic murals. The old kind of murals were very figurative. They were happy, and in that case, very theatrical, and very different from the kind of murals that we see today that are being painted.
And also the Leopard Lounge in the Chesterfield. Could you tell us about that mural?
That was by Lino Mario, and he's passed away just recently. And they were going to tear that mural down, but it has been saved. And leopard is really in style now anyway, so I'm really glad that they did. But it's very risque, that mural. It's very seductive and sensual, and a lot of naked women, and all painted in red, and the whole ceiling swirls. And when you look up, it's kind of romantic, too, because it's red, and they have candles and lights. And that's at the Chesterfield Hotel in Palm Beach.
The Leopard Lounge. And that has been saved?
That's saved, and it's open for business right now.
Are the murals in the Four Arts Society?
Those are outside. You can just pass by in your car and see them right off the North Bridge coming into Palm Beach. Those are outside. The Four Arts is music, performing arts, literature, and visual arts. And the murals there are done from the WPA style, where they have the mythology and a lot of figures and a lot of symbolism, and just lovely murals. Those have just been restored, as a matter of fact.
Speaking of the community, and we are here at the Palm Springs Community Middle School, could you tell us about the mural behind us?
Oh, it's so great to be back here. We did this mural in 2006, and the school was built by Schenkel and Schultz architects in the Art Deco style. And as you know, I wrote the book, Art Deco Society of the Palm Beaches, as president of the Art Deco Society of the Palm Beaches. And the book came out, and they built this Art Deco school. We did Art Deco murals, and we worked in the colors. The new colors, actually, all color goes in cycle. Right now, we're in a yellow cycle. So everything is yellows, yellow greens, terracottas. So we have the new colors, the earth tones. The school had blue in it, and blue was a very strong color, so we put the blue. And we kind of have a cityscape, because it was like we didn't want the palm tree, the typical kind of palm tree and Everglades, although we're going to see a lot of Everglades murals coming up. But the logo to the school is the stingray. So we have the stingray, proudly in the middle, and it's very Hollywood and colorful and fun, and it's very kind of New York right here in Palm Springs.
What are some of your other favorite murals that you've done recently?
Well, we did the YMCA mural in Boca Raton. That's very colorful and bright and has all the logos of swimming and family and heart and handshakes. That was a very fun mural. One of my most favorite murals is in Delray Beach at Pine Grove School. We call it the Peaceable Kingdom. And it's all colorful animals. And the lion, which traditionally would eat the lamb, is gently sitting with the lamb. And that's one of my favorite murals. I have so many favorite murals.
How can we guarantee, Sharon, that the things that we leave behind, which, like you said, they make a statement about who we are and where we've been and our current history also. So how can we guarantee that we hold on to these works of art?
Well, we have to educate the public, make them aware of the murals, let them know what the significance is, the significance of the architect who built the building, the significance of the artist. The internet is a great tool now for these kind of things, but shows like this that educate people, that make people want to go and visit the murals, that document the murals, take pictures, write books about the murals. All these things are special, but people connect to a mural because it's a sense of place. It's an environment. See, a painting sits here. A mural goes around and around and onto the next wall and onto this wall and over the doorway and into the bathroom. A mural doesn't have to stop because a mural could be architectural, it could be decorative. And people, whether they pass it by back and forth all day or they just see it once, it captures them. It's striking, it's memorable. And murals are important for all of those reasons.
I know back in the Depression, President Roosevelt started the WPA program.
Yes, the New Deal.
Has there been any talk in our current crisis that they will put some artists to work or
Well, I would just love that. That would be, they know that as a model that works. They know that putting people to work in construction works. Hoover Dam was an excellent example of an Art Deco WPA project. But art is really important in the schools because what we've seen is schools that were F schools What C schools have risen to A schools when they have murals. This is actually documented that a lot of the murals that I have in these schools, because what happens is the principal cares, the teacher cares, the kids care, everybody starts to care about their environment, they care about what they're learning about. And when people care and they're happier, they see a mural, they feel better, it's just a whole, you know, kind of pyramid of effects, what a simple mural could do.
Very quickly, you mentioned before about some murals in our post offices.
Yes.
What are some of the memorable ones?
Well, you know, in the Depression days, they created these murals and they did not want the controversy. So what they did, you know, they weren't going to show the people on the soup lines and they tried to uplift the people. So what they did was they painted heroes. And that was very, very smart because it made people feel good. The post office was the real center, the community, the hub, the real art in public places. So you'll see Everglades murals. You'll see murals of James Hamilton, the barefoot mailman. So these are the heroes of, you know, through thick and thin, he was able to deliver the mail in Palm Beach County. James Edward Hamilton actually lost his life delivering mail. It's a true story. That's why it went down in history.
Well, thank you for that, Sharon. We're going to be right back with Sharon Koskoff on Inside History. Stay with us.
American hero.
I want to help people. I want to make a difference. I want to get things done. Could I be a hero?
She had to apply.
I should give this a try.
There she met people who shared her passion, people who wanted to make change, people who joined AmeriCorps. They cleaned beaches, they helped wildlife. Together they served, together they made a difference. Together they were heroes.
In AmeriCorps, you can be a hero too.
Join AmeriCorps.
Welcome back to Inside History. I'm your host, Bob Carter. We're here with Sharon Koskoff at the Palm Springs Middle School in front of a mural that Sharon painted about 2 years ago. Sharon, how old were you when you started doing murals?
I was 14. I was young.
And how many have you done since then?
Since then, hundreds and hundreds of murals.
Do you make sketches first? Do you draw it out first?
Yes, we always make a sketch for lots of reasons. Historically, they made sketches and would show the client what they were doing, and you'd go back and forth. And that's still one of the same things with mural painting, where you go to a client and you show them what you're going to do. This way, there's no surprises, and this way, you have an idea where to start.
So if we wanted to do a mural on the history of, say, the Seminole Indians in the Everglades, and you were commissioned to do that, then you would first sketch it?
No, first we research. It's all about the research because you want accuracy. If you wanted something with the Seminoles, you would want to know what they wore and what they looked like, what colors were of the time, because you'd probably want historical colors. So first I would do tons of research, and I would gather a very thick portfolio, and I would find images that worked and didn't work, and then put them all together like a collage to create my sketch.
Have you done murals on historical times, events, things?
Yes, the Love's Drug mural that we did in Delray captured 3 vignettes from history. We had the old train station, we had the tomato crate man, and we had the pavilion on the beach. And those were from the Delray Beach Historic Society. We did research with them.
What were some of the historical murals that were done here in Palm Beach County during the Art Deco era?
Well, some must-see murals would be the Clewiston Inn. That was done by Clinton Shepard, and that is a wonderful historical mural. And he was, in the 1940s, he was the executive director of the Norton Gallery and Museum of Art. And he was a mural artist. And he painted the Everglades, and it was a way of reawakening the audience, because the Everglades has been around for millions, well, I don't know about millions, it's been around for a very long time. It's this perfect ecosystem. And to this day, the Everglades is a very favorite theme in a lot of schools that we've painted. Another must-see mural that you could see would be the Scottish Rite Temple in Lake Worth. That was painted by Bernard Thomas in 1984. And that is an epic mural of King Solomon's mines. He traveled to Jerusalem and he did this wonderful, there's hundreds of people in the mural, and it shows how they're building this King Solomon's temple where they actually found the Ten Commandments. So that is a historic mural. And we just have some great murals here in Palm Beach County that you should see. The Flagler Museum.
For those of you who don't know, the Clewiston Inn is in Clewiston, Florida. It's a short drive, well worth it. It's not only you can stay overnight, but they also have a dining room, and they serve some very good food.
Yes.
And you could take in a very historical mural while you're there. Sharon, what are some of the things that you look forward to in creating murals? If you had your wish, what mural would you do historically for Palm Beach County?
Well, I've always wanted to do the Delray Beach, the woman on the raft. We have a wonderful photo in the archives of this woman. She's all dressed up in her Victorian garb, and she's on a raft crossing the Intracoastal before the bridge. And it shows kind of women being independent, and it kind of shows the formality of the time, and it's also kind of shows, you know, it was so hot, there wasn't air conditioning in those days, and here they're all prim and proper and all buttoned up, and you're just on a Sunday afternoon traveling across the Intracoastal.
How do the techniques used today compare to the techniques used in the past to create murals?
Well, I think technology has helped us a lot. When I paint a mural, I use a hair blower. So it's super fast dries. If it doesn't dry fast enough, I can use the hair blower, dry it, give it a second coat, a third coat, because you might not realize that when you see a mural, it's not just painted once, it's painted like 3 times. So we also don't seal murals that are indoors. Years ago, I think they used to seal the murals, and because they used oil paints after they were using the tempera. After frescoes, oil paints were invented where they would put the pigment into the oil, and that was historically how it was done. And oil paints took days and weeks, years to dry. Sometimes they think some of the old oil paintings are still wet. They never quite evaporate. But the newer techniques, they didn't have projectors in those days. They didn't have levels, or maybe they had levels, but they didn't have masking tape and brushes and water and just clean up really quick. Also, we can custom mix colors now. I mix all of my own colors on site. And years ago, they didn't have the array of colors and choices that we have today.
You mentioned before that the mural behind us is in the Art Deco style. Were murals popular during the Art Deco period?
Yes, I think they really gained huge popularity because Art Deco is really the beginning of modernism. And modernism was the beginning of abstraction and simplicity and minimalism. So everything in Art Deco would be in groups of 3s. So we'll see like steps of 3s. We'll see geometry. It was all about the straight line. So we'll see circular things. Circular could represent the sun. It could represent the earth. It could represent many things. So they're symbolic, they're abstract. In the Art Deco era, it was the 1925, the 1930s, the 1940s. And you have this love with the straight line and the love for all things geometry and all things speed. Speed was very important, streamlining. So all of these elements were very good for murals. They were very suitable for murals. They were very grand. And I think they were also made popular by like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies. They'd be dancing and there'd be the large backdrop.
The word streamline, I haven't heard that in many, many years. In using a mural to tell a story, how do you make that happen? What are the choices and the decisions you make to tell the story, but also to assure that your audience will get the story as you tell it?
Well, historic murals are very literal. They will just visually tell you the story. If there's a person as in the Scottish Rite Temple. There's a person baking clay. There's a person chopping a tree. There's a person, they're all working to build the temple. You see that. And without any explanation, you would say, oh, there are people there working. That's what they're doing. If you saw this logo, you might say, why is there a stingray there? So someone might have to say, well, that's our school logo. That's what gives us pride. So you might know what a mural is about, or you might not. But today, murals are much more abstract. In Delray Beach, we have Art in Public Places murals by Andrew Reed on the Palm Beach County Courthouse. And he has all kinds of Delray Beach symbols in there. And he actually has the words Palm Beach history on there. And it's almost like a sign, but he's telling you these are things that are historical to Delray. These are icons to Delray. But as we get more contemporary, more abstract, things may not be real, and things might overlap, and things might be just more decorative. Mm-hmm. Art Deco is also very decorative.
Now we know that there are people who will come into our area not respecting that we do have a history, and that some of the things like the mural on the Royal Poinciana ceiling in the celebrity room, and those murals that the murals that are in buildings that just simply get torn down. Why are they important? Why should we work to preserve them?
Well, the people who want to tear those down, I don't think they want to tear down the murals as much as they want to tear down the structure. And the fact that a mural is attached to a structure is where a mural is sensitive. If a mural is painted on canvas, or if it was painted on panels that could be removed, a mural could live on. But the fun of the mural is reaching to the ceiling and being on your hands and knees and painting the little crack. It's the challenge. A mural is very challenging. How do I get up there? Sometimes we have to use scissor lifts, because I don't have that luxury to paint on a canvas and then apply it. That would be very, very costly. It could be done. But actually, if you applied the mural to the wall, then how would you actually remove it? That would present a whole other series of problems. But people want to tear down buildings. That's a whole other story. And usually it's for profit. They just say, oh, I don't think it's important. I don't think that architect is important. I don't think the structure is significant. And we need to protect our history, whether it's through murals or architecture, because Palm Beach County history is only from the 19th and 20th century. We don't have buildings and murals hundreds and hundreds of years old like you have in Europe or northern cities. Palm Beach County history, before the Indians, when architecture and cities were built, West Palm Beach, for instance, is celebrating 100 years with its centennial celebration. So Palm Beach County, is celebrating its centennial this year. So, we really need to keep our history preserved, because it gets torn down like that, and demolition is forever.
How do we do that?
It's too late.
How do we help guarantee that the murals that we do have and the murals that are to be done in the future get preserved?
Well, we educate people and we expose people, and they have to get involved and realize they have a voice. They have to protect what they have also. When we let a building just go into decay, or a mural just go into decay through neglect, then it's easy for someone to say right away, oh, well, it's old, it's dirty, if a mural is dirty, we just clean it, we restore it. By maintaining things, they retain their luster and their beauty, and then people want to keep them around. Mm-hmm. So if you let a building go into neglect, it's easy to say, oh, it's just an eyesore, let's just tear it down. But then, you have to go and rebuild it. So the key is maintenance. If you keep something nice, it's going to be people will want to keep it and preserve it.
I agree. And we do have a lot of things here in Palm Beach County that should and do need to be preserved.
The Flagler Museum murals are an excellent example. The ceilings are just beautiful. They're angelic. They're romantic. They remind us of a day of the Gilded Age. But not every building can become a museum, obviously. So, you know, that's one way of protecting something. But the Flagler Museum has lovely ceiling murals.
Sharon, I know you're connected with an organization that gives tours on historical places.
Yes, we give art and architectural tours of Palm Beach County, group tours anywhere they want to go. Sometimes we go down to South Beach. And what I think I'm going to do now, though, is do some mural tours. Would you like to sign up?
I think I might just love that.
We'd love to have you.
And we're going to show your website so that our audience can know where to go to follow through
Excellent.
with your work and the future things you'll be doing.
Excellent.
And I want to thank you for being with us today
Thank
on
you, Bob.
Inside History.
It's been grand.
It's been fun. I also want to thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time on Inside History.